What's good, y'all? Welcome back to my channel, Chrissyy Talks. Y'all can call me Chrissyy, and let's go ahead and jump right into it. Maynard was a beautiful 29-year-old mother from Missouri who loved to cook, and she was described to be deeply caring and protective over her family. Early last month, her family attempted to file a missing persons report after not hearing from her. Her sister Tera says that on Friday, February 18th at around 10:30, 11:30, they didn't specify whether it was in the morning or the evening, but Isiah called her and said, "Hey, I met a new friend, we're going on a date, and I'll be coming by tomorrow." Now, unfortunately, that would be the last time her family ever heard from Isiah. When Isiah didn't show up the next day, that's when Tera felt like something wasn't sitting right in her spirit. Something wasn't right.
She called me Friday at 10:30, 11 o'clock, and she was telling me that, hey, I met a new friend, I'm going on a date. I was gonna stop by, but I'll just come by tomorrow. After Friday, she never called, she never showed up, and that's not like her. Another day goes by. I said something's not right. It wasn't sitting right with my spirit.
Tera attempted to file a missing persons report, but when she called the police, investigators told her that Isiah was probably fine and she would get back to her soon. Now, this is the bullshit, because investigators seem like they know the victim more than their own family and loved ones. I feel like they need to take into account that this is their family or their loved ones. They're the ones who grew up with this victim. They're the ones who know more about the victim. So if something seems unusual for them, like she didn't show up to see her family when she said she would, she's not answering my calls, then they need to take it serious. And even if they don't take it serious, then why not check it out anyway? You know, why not do something about it just in case something happens? Now, what Tera didn't know, that while she was spending all day Saturday calling the police and trying to file in a missing persons report, the police actually already knew where Isiah was and who she was with. But it wouldn't be until the next day around 2:30 in the afternoon that the police finally and officially reported her missing, and they properly identified her and reported her as deceased. So to reiterate the order of events, on Friday the 18th, that's when Isiah called Tera and said, "I'm going on this date with this new guy I met earlier this week, and I'll see you guys tomorrow." The next day, Saturday the 19th, Tera didn't hear from Isiah, and that's when she attempted to file the missing persons report. Tera didn't know that police actually picked up Isiah's body earlier that Saturday morning, but they wouldn't claim her as deceased or identify her until the next day, Sunday. So Isiah passed away over 24 hours before her family knew that she was dead. Now, while Isiah's family was calling reporting her missing, a man who was later identified by Isiah's friends and not the police by the name of Isiah Crown called the police that Saturday morning. Now, according to Isiah's friends, Isiah Crown was the man that Isiah allegedly went out with that night that she passed away. Now, what's crazy is that he actually initially canceled the date because he couldn't find anyone to babysit until last minute. That morning, Isiah called the police and said that Isiah was not feeling well. He said that he found her laying on the ground, and as he turned her body over while he was on the phone with the police, her body was stiff, and that's when he reported her dead. Now, police actually went to go pick up her body, and her car was still parked at his house. So it's safe to assume that she was at Isiah's house that night. Initially, I thought, okay, maybe the police didn't know who she was at the time, and that's why they didn't contact her family. But Isiah knew who she was. And if her car was outside of his house, then the police could have ran her place easily. And essentially, they could have contacted her family within that 24 hours. So I don't know what they was doing within that 24 hours. Regardless of whatever that process was, they could have easily identified her within minutes of finding her body if they picked her up at Isiah's house where her car was parked. Now, according to the family, police told them that the man that Isiah was on a date with caused in her death, but they would not release any information to the family on who he was, what his name is, and where Isiah was found, because they believed that she died of natural causes. And because they're still treating this as a death investigation and not a homicide investigation, they did not see Isiah as a suspect, and they did not release his information to the family. They believe that she died of natural causes because there were no clear signs of foul play, and so they're waiting on the toxicology report, and so they're not conducting a homicide investigation. They're not looking into Isiah. Now, usually when a suspect dies or is murdered or is missing, they look into the last person who saw them alive, which would be Isiah. So I feel like regardless, and you guys will hear more details on her body in a few seconds, but they should have looked into Isiah regardless, because she was in his possession, she was in his home while she was not feeling well and suddenly passed away. And I definitely feel like obviously there are times where police can go to a scene and it's clear what happened. In those cases, there's clear evidence of what happened on the crime scene, but just because there's not enough clear evidence doesn't mean you could go ahead and say what the cause of death could potentially be and right away rule out murder. Because let's say someone did violently murder someone or whatever the case, and they clean up the evidence. Are you gonna go to their home and be like, well, there's no signs of foul play, even though this person's body looks suspicious, and this person who you didn't even know all of a sudden died under your care, you know? Needless to say, the police are doing a fucked up job. Because again, you have to consider race in this case, because Asia was a black woman and Isiah was a white man, or whoever she was with was a white man. If the roles were reversed and a white woman was found in a black man's home dead, the police would definitely, no questions, look into that black man. Now, of course, her death being explained by natural causes is bullshit. Her family and her mother Denise are wondering, how does this healthy, strong 29-year-old mother of 4 die of natural causes at such a young age, and again while she was healthy?
We're going to say that she died of natural causes because there was no foul play.
She's only 29. 29, you're not dying of natural causes. I feel like they're rushing the investigation.
I feel so bad for her mother Denise, because she went to the funeral home to view her daughter's body and she found that her daughter had blood in her eyes, her ears, and her clothes were saturated in blood.
When she got to the funeral home and we viewed the body, she had blood in her eyes and her ears, and her clothes were saturated with blood.
Now, this makes me wonder, okay, so did Isiah not report this? You know, like, you would think that if you found somebody laying on the ground, probably around your home or in your home, and just call the police simply saying she's not feeling too well. Like, did he not report the fact that she was covered in blood? Did the police not report that fact? And again, how can you see somebody with blood coming out of their eyes and their ears and claim that that is from natural causes? Like, what natural cause was that? I feel like one of the first things I would have thought of when I seen her body like that was an overdose, or some type of toxin was in her body. And if there was some type of toxin in her body, again, that is not natural causes. What natural cause has you die with blood coming out of your ears and your eyes? Something caused that. Let's talk about Isiah for a little bit now. Again, police did not reveal his information. Her family actually found out through Asia's friends who he was, and when they posted on social media more about Asia's story, that's when they got testimonies from other people who allegedly knew of Isiah, knew him to be the cause of overdoses and other deaths in the community. Allegedly, his own family went to the police and admitted that they knew his involvement of these cases. Allegedly, Isiah has a family member who is in the police. That would explain a little bit the whole 24 hours of the police not notifying her family, because it sounds like a cover-up at that point. Now, let's dive into 3 testimonies of people who claim to have known Isiah. One of them was named Cameron Keene, who was an ex-roommate of Isiah, and she stated that one of their mutual friends actually died of an overdose caused by Isiah. She said that she also almost died of an overdose, and that as she was laying on the ground barely breathing on the bricks of death while the ambulance was coming, Isiah wasn't even helping her. He was actually hiding the pills that caused her overdose. He was hiding these drugs and kept selling after, even though he caused one of his own friends to die. Cameron stated that he's actually lying about what he's giving to people, that they seem to be laced products, and he's just not telling them what he's really giving them. Now, another ex-friend of Isiah named Mercedes Maynard actually went to school with him and said that she knew of another mutual friend named Louie who died of an overdose caused by Isiah. She said that their friend Louie actually died of a fentanyl overdose and that he was left at a party to pass away. Nobody helped him apparently. And I thought this was interesting because, of course, I'm sure most of you guys thought of the video I made a couple of weeks ago about the case of Lauren Smith Fields, and it's literally almost the same story. Lauren met up with a white man that she met off a dating app, and next thing you know, she was found dead the next day, also with blood on her body. Police did not look into the white man, and she was found with combined drugs in her system, one of them including fentanyl. Mercedes said that Isiah actually showed up to Louie's funeral, even though he apparently caused his death. He only showed up for about 5 minutes. People were questioning him, and he said he was going to keep selling because he did not want to waste the $300 that he spent on these pills. Another ex-friend named Brittany said that he's definitely responsible for these deaths and overdoses in the community. She said that she feels like he gets a rise out of it, like he has fun doing it. He has fun from hurting people and doesn't have any morals. She even said that his son would be crying in another room and he would just turn up the music a little bit louder to block it out. And she states that she knows for a fact that he gets some type of satisfaction out of doing this. Y'all, I just think this is really weird, again, considering the fact that this happened recently after Lauren Smith Fields case, and again the police, and that happened in Connecticut. So from Connecticut to Missouri, the police are doing a crappy job taking care of a black woman who died under the watch of a white male. Again, this just strengthens the fact that people need to be careful off of who they're meeting online. Do your own background checks. Again, meet up with people in the middle of the day, broad daylight, in public, so other people can see you. Maybe ask your friends or ask around on who this guy is, because it seems like a lot of people in the community know what he's doing. And I just wish the police were doing a better job in investigating their own. Like, this is why I also suspected that the white man who was involved in Lauren Smith Fields' case might also have a family member in the police, or they're just being, you know, lenient with him because he's a white man. We see the racial divide is clear in these cases, and if this happens again, and it really shouldn't, But if this happens again, it's clearly a pattern at that point, and it almost makes me feel like people are gonna start thinking that they can get away with doing shit like this. Like I said in my other video, I know that Jeffrey Dahmer and Ted Bundy would have a field day being on dating apps, so I really hope this is not gonna be like a rise in people doing more sneaky shit. I mean, of course there has been deaths reported through meeting on dating apps, which again is why I say be careful regardless. But I don't know, it's just terrible the fact that if this is true, Isiah knows what he's doing, and he did not, a mother of 4, like he did not have to take away 4 children's mothers out their lives. I just feel so bad for the family. I feel so bad for Denise that she had to even see her daughter like that, and I'm pissed at the fact that the police did not notify them sooner or look into Isiah. And if Isiah has done this more than once, like it's being reported by the community, then his ass needs to go to jail. Like his ass needs to go to jail and stop hurting people. It's crazy to think that just because you have connections or just because of your skin color, you could get away with murder. I mean, it's not crazy because white people have been doing it for hundreds of years, but like at this modern time, you cannot act stupid as a police officer with all this blatant evidence, all these blatant testimonies, and you just still cannot act dumb off of certain evidence that is literally being presented to you. And it really sucks to know that as a black woman, like we just are not protected in this country at all. Like it's just crazy. But y'all, that is the end of my video. I hope you guys enjoyed. My love and thoughts go out to Asiah's family and Asiah's kids. I really hope that they get justice, as well as Lawrence Smith-Field's family. Let me know what you guys think about the case. Share this video, share her story, or whatever the case, to get her name out there. Follow me on Instagram at Snapchat at Chrissyy Talks, and Chrissyy, 2 S's 2 Y's. I love and appreciate you guys, and I'll see y'all in my next video. Bye guys. She the God, she the God, she the God.